I think we've reached a stage where corporate greed has become absolutely uncontrolled and it has just spiraled into something that is drastically affecting all of our lives. I'm just going to start with the enshittification of products that we use on a day-to-day basis. They've degraded so much in quality to the point where stuff isn't even lasting a couple of months, let alone years on end like they used to. It's reaching such an unsustainable point to where we are just enshittifying things that really shouldn't be. For instance, healthcare. What used to be the case was, in America specifically, hospitals used to be privately owned, but now hospitals are owned by big corporations. And what this has effectively done was it capitalized on healthcare, on basic health needs. Now hospitals aren't exactly treating people, they are trying to extract the most amount of wealth out of people, which is the case for a lot of things nowadays. There's a term that comes up that often gets referred to, and it is the term "you will own nothing and be happy." That is slowly but surely being implemented and becoming truer and truer every day, because we don't really own the things that we buy anymore. I think that's pretty obvious. I think that's pretty apparent. Now everything is a subscription. Everything is a pay here, pay later type of deal where you're constantly paying monthly for things that you used to be able to own. And the subscriptions have gotten so bad and so widespread now to the point where even car companies are starting to implement this inside of their cars. There are certain features in cars that are locked behind paywalls and subscription fees. Like, oh, pay $60 per month for heated seats, pay $60 a month for GPS navigation. And you just have to sit and you have to wonder, where is all of this heading? Which direction are we going in as a species where everything, every aspect of our lives is being capitalized to make the most amount of money, for big corporations who don't care about us at all. They just care about making as much money as possible. And truthfully, nothing's being done about it. Nothing's really being done on a wide enough scale to have a huge impact because people are comfortable with this living. People are way too comfortable with this living. Life has become too commodified. We're too comfortable with the comforts of modern living that people don't want to get uncomfortable for a little bit just to improve things in the future. Um, what I've noticed by and large is that people do recognize there's an issue. People do recognize there's something wrong. People largely don't care enough to do anything about it. And that's going to lead to our demise because these corporations are going to get more emboldened with what they do and things that they do in order to make the most amount of profit possible. And we allow them to do these things. We allow them to continue to degrade these products, feed us poison, and do all of these nefarious things behind our backs. Well, they try and do it behind our backs. And honestly, the amount of greed and the amount of corporate overreach into ordinary people's daily lives is, I feel like, directly contributing to the birth rate problem that we have. Because people are asking, why should you have children in a world that's so heavily capitalized on, that's so heavily lacking in meaning or any sort of purpose? People are asking the question, why should I bring children into a world of suffering to this magnitude just to go through the same suffering that I have gone through? And people try and say that the people who have this sentiment are selfish or they're inherently just self-serving, but I don't really think it's selfish. Pretty I think it's pretty nonsensical to call people who have this viewpoint selfish because it is an inherently selfless act to not have children because of the idea that you don't want to bring another human being into this world to experience the amount of perils and struggles that this world presents. I think more people should be thinking about this before they have children, to tell you the truth. Do I want to bring another human being into this world to be subject to all of this stuff that's happening in this world right now? Do I actually want to bring another human being to experience that? Another question is, will you actually be able to raise a child in the current situation that you're in? Because a lot of people don't have disposable income. A lot of people don't have the extra money to really take care of a child because of the greed, hyper capitalism that's going on. I know, very scary terms. Oh my gosh, very liberal terms, but it's true. At this point, I wouldn't even call it capitalism anymore because capitalism involves competition. It involves companies competing with each other for their customer bases. Right now, we don't really have any competition going on inside of the corporate world. It's monopolies and more monopolies. Big corporations not even really competing with each other, but colluding with each other to make the most amount of money to please their shareholders. You know, if we actually had competition going on right now, I guarantee you we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in, but we don't have any competition. And you just have to sit and wonder, well, what are the antitrust laws that we have in place to prevent this sort of thing for? What are they even there for? Why do we have anti-monopoly laws if they don't work, if they just allow monopolies to happen and there's no breaking up of these companies? Those are the questions that we really should be asking. Why is the government so inactive when it comes to nefarious things that these corporations are doing? And the answer to that question may be very scary because we're reaching a point where corporations are becoming more powerful than the actual governments to which their country of origin is. And that is a very scary thing. Because what happens when corporations actually do gain more power than their governments? What world are we going to be living in that instance? Questions that you should be asking. These are questions that everyone should be asking, quite frankly, because they determine the future of the entire world.